So now we have a way to upload an image. We also have a new method in our service to kind of add a product with an image. So what we're going to do is we're going to start cleaning out that component now to make it simpler to know what happens in here and to move the business logic somewhere else. So let's start out with pretty much just removing this code right here because that's outdated now. That's not something we want to do in here anymore. I'm just going to keep it because I'm going to move some of it into the service later on. But what do we want to do instead? Well, I want to call this product service. I want to call the add product with image now, right? Now what does an add product with image actually need from me? It needs the product data and it needs some kind of metadata right here. Now we don't have the metadata available right now, so I'm going to try and create it. So let's figure out what we actually need inside our metadata. So what I'll do right here is I'll just make, for now, a simple constant right here containing the metadata. And what will actually be in here is going to be, let's just explain to the system that this is actually going to be a metadata, image metadata actually to be more correct. And let's also add the word image meta right here. There we go. Now this is going to contain a few pieces of the puzzle as well. The first thing we need in here is going to be either an image blob or an base64. So let's just try and add those to the system right here. So I'm scrolling down. I need an image blob. How did I get it before? Well, it seems that I can get the image blob by calling event.file. So what I'll do is I'll just make a local reference for that image blob. Let's just call it crop blob just to keep the same name as above. Crop blob, and that can be retrieved by calling the event.file right here. I'll just save this as a field up here. Now we have the crop blob available, and we can use that to kind of explain what the blob should be inside our image meta, right? So that was step one. I need to say, of course, this crop blob. There we go. So that was step one. Now I have inside my image meta, I have a reference to the blob that I want to save. And I can pass this image meta down here to kind of get rid of that error. I just need to put more information into the metadata, right? Because we also said that as a minimum, we also needed some file meta. What is this file all about that we're actually creating right here? We need the name for the file, the type for the file, and the size for the file as a bare minimum. Now, how do we get that data? Again, going down to the way we set it up down here, we can see that we actually have something called image event target files right here to get the file before it's actually cropped, and that contains the name and that contains the type and the size. So I'm just going to copy this code right here, and I'm going to go up here and paste it in right above creating the metadata. And here what we're going to do is, for now we're just going to accept that we might get an error if there's no file selected. Okay for now. So what I'll do is I'll go and say file before cropped, and here I can now go and expand this guy and say I need a name, right? To call myself a file metadata, I need a name. And we'll just say file before crop dot name. There we have the name. I need a type, and here I can actually hard code it because I know the type of my file. I know that it'll always end up with an image/PNG right here. How do I know that? Well, if you go into the HTML, I've actually set that my format needs to be image PNG right here, and that's why I know I'll always end up in my cropped image with a PNG format. But if you don't want to do that, you could also go and say, well, I want the same format like the file actually had, and then you can say .type right here. But again, I know that my file is going to end up as a PNG, so I'm just going to put that in here like this. Now the final thing that I need is the size. So I'll add the size right here, and I'll get that again from the file before crop.size. There we go. So now we have all the properties available, and we've actually set it all up now with a small image metadata right here. And now we can actually create this guy as simple as this, right? And I can get rid of all of this noise. I'll actually remove it now, move it into the service. So let's just get rid of all of this for now and move it into our service. And the next lesson we'll kind of finalize this and make it even easier to read, and that should pretty much be it. So let's put this into the service for now. Still outcommented. I still need to change a few things around, but again, this is the final step, kind of figuring out how can we make this in the service instead of in the add component. Now while we're here cleaning up, let's just go down here and get rid of this as well, because this is not needed now either. So let's just get rid of that part. There we go. Now we only have these two files whenever we crop an image, and we only have this small add product right here, and that could even be simplified even more, but let's not do it this lesson. We'll just keep building this. Another thing you'll notice is I don't need the file service in here anymore, so let's get rid of that. I don't need the file to upload in here anymore. Let's get rid of that. And now we pretty much have a pretty simple component Again, the add product, all it does is kind of map some information and just sends it to this method right here. Now, of course, I need one more thing in here, and I can just move it back, but it's not, since the service is not done yet, it won't work. But I just need to call the subscribe here in the end, and this is actually the full add product we have right here. A lot easier to read in my mind. So that's it for this lesson. Next lesson we'll make sure that we can actually subscribe to this and make it work like it did before. See you next time. Have fun.